I still remember the moment I found out. The weight of it pressed into my chest like a steel beam, and I swear I couldn't breathe for several minutes. My name was on a $63,000 wedding bill. Not just for my wedding, no. My parents had decided to combine my big day with my sister's anniversary celebration, and somehow, I became the sole sponsor of both events. They didn't ask me. They didn't warn me. They just signed. My parents. My own flesh and blood. My name is Sophia. And what I'm about to tell you is not just a story about betrayal. It's a confession. A slow, meticulous unraveling of trust, of love, of the kind of loyalty you expect to be unshakable. And it's about the kind of revenge that burns quietly at first, then grows into a roaring fire that consumes everything in its path. The nightmare began a few weeks before my wedding. My fiancé, Daniel, and I had been planning a small, intimate ceremony, nothing extravagant. I've never been the kind of woman who dreams of chandeliers and golden arches. What mattered to me was the vow, the promise, the life we were about to build. I wanted warmth, intimacy, sincerity. But my mother, Clara, had different plans. "Darling," she had said, brushing my hair back one afternoon, "a wedding is not just about you and Daniel. It's about family. It's about showing the world who we are." Those words stung even then. Who we are. Not who I am. Not who Daniel is. No, my wedding was apparently a family spectacle, a stage for them to parade on. I should have paid closer attention to the details. But I was in love. I was distracted, naive, and, most dangerously, trusting. The day of the event came faster than I expected. When I arrived at the venue, a beautiful old estate house bathed in golden light, I noticed something immediately. Banners. Giant, gaudy banners with the words, "Happy 10-year anniversary, Emily and Jason." My sister and her husband. Their smiling faces plastered on posters, in the program, even engraved on the cake. My heart stuttered. This isn't right," I whispered, clutching Daniel's hand. He frowned, his jaw tightening. My mother was waiting by the entrance, dressed in glittering silver, more extravagant than any bride should have tolerated. "Mom," I hissed, "why is Emily's anniversary?" "Oh, don't make a scene, Sophia," she cut me off, her voice low but sharp. "We thought it would be beautiful to celebrate both occasions. Family unity, darling. Don't you see? It's perfect. Perfect." That word stabbed into me like ice. The ceremony went on. I married Daniel. But everything felt overshadowed. When I looked around, I saw guests I didn't even recognize, most of them Emily and Jason's friends. They toasted to 10 years of love more than they did to my vows. When the band played, the first dance wasn't mine and Daniel's, it was Emily and Jason's. Their song. My sister glided across the floor, radiant and smug, while I sat at the edge of the table, my dress heavy on my skin, my heart in shards. But the true betrayal revealed itself 2 weeks later. A letter came in the mail. A thick envelope, addressed to me. I tore it open, expecting more of the usual nonsense from vendors or thank you notes from guests. Instead, it was an invoice. $63,287.49. Due immediately. Signed in my name. I thought I was hallucinating. My hands trembled as I flipped through the pages. Caterers. Florists. Venue. Open bar. Entertainment. The bill for every lavish, grotesque expense had been shoved onto my shoulders. My parents had used my social security number. My credit. My signature, forged. I stormed into their house that evening. I didn't knock. I didn't care. My mother was at the dining table, sipping wine. My father, Mark, sat across from her, his reading glasses perched on his nose. They looked up as if nothing was wrong. "You signed my name," I spat. My voice cracked, but my rage didn't. $63,000. You put all of it on me. My father sighed, setting his glass down. Sophia, calm down. We knew you and Daniel could handle it. You're both responsible, financially stable. Responsible? I laughed bitterly. That's your excuse? You ruin my wedding, you throw a party for Emily, and then you dump the bill on me? My mother's eyes narrowed. Don't be dramatic. You'll thank us later. Do you know how many people were impressed? That event put us on the map. You can afford it. Your sister couldn't. I stood there, staring at the people who raised me, and I realized something terrifying. I had never been their daughter. Not really. I had been their investment. Their tool. Their convenient scapegoat. And Emily, my precious sister, was their golden child, their untouchable jewel. I left that night without another word. But inside me, something broke. And when something breaks, it sharpens. Revenge wasn't an impulse. It was a plan. I began quietly. First, I contacted a lawyer. Forgery, identity theft, financial fraud, those words had a delicious weight to them. He assured me we had a case. But I didn't want to just win legally. I wanted to humiliate them. To strip away their facade in the very same way they stripped me on my wedding day. Daniel stood by me. He was the only reason I didn't collapse under the weight of it all. Together, we started digging. We found out my parents had done this before, credit cards in my name, small debts I hadn't noticed, all paid off without my knowledge. They had been grooming me for this for years, softening the soil for their biggest betrayal. But the best part? Emily knew. Emails between her and my mother surfaced during discovery. They had planned it together. She had agreed to share my wedding, to make it her anniversary celebration, because she knew she wouldn't have to pay a dime. The trial came 6 months later. I'll never forget standing in that courtroom, staring at my parents as the charges were read. Fraud. Forgery. Identity theft. Their faces, once so smug, so certain, crumbled under the fluorescent lights. Emily tried to testify in their favor, but the evidence was undeniable. The emails. The bank statements. The signatures. All of it. My parents were convicted. Not for long, but long enough to taste the inside of a cell. Their reputations? Shattered. The community they wanted to impress turned on them like vultures, whispering, mocking, condemning. And Emily? Oh, her punishment was poetic. Jason filed for divorce shortly after the trial. Turns out, he hadn't appreciated being overshadowed at what was supposed to be his anniversary either. With the legal fees draining her savings, and her marriage collapsing, Emily moved back into my parents' house, broken, bitter, and alone. As for me? I walked away free. The court cleared the debt, restored my credit, and awarded me damages. That $63,000 turned into nearly $200,000 in restitution. I used it to build the life I deserved with Daniel. A life untouched by their greed. The last time I saw my mother, she reached out across the courtroom, her face pale, her voice trembling. Sophia, we're family. You can't do this to us. I leaned in close, so only she could hear, and whispered, you already did this to me. That was the day I buried the daughter they once knew. And that was the day I became free. Because sometimes, revenge isn't loud. Sometimes, it's not about screaming or breaking things. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge is simply pulling the mask off liars and letting the whole world watch them choke on their own lies. I never wanted to hurt them. I just wanted justice. But justice has a way of feeling like revenge when the guilty are finally forced to kneel. And when I walked out of that courthouse, Daniel's hand in mine, I swear the air felt different. Lighter. Cleaner. Like I had finally stepped out of their shadow. They tried to destroy my wedding, my name, my life. Instead, they destroyed themselves.